And yes, we are live. So, just a little waffle. Just a little waffle before we start. Whilst people are seeing something is happening, we'll just say hello and good day and good morning to everybody that might join. And just to start, brief introduction. I'm Jack Aker, that is Lola Kiss by my side from Danish Spiritualist Association. And as our special guest tonight, we do have David Hale from UK.
Yeah.
So, hi, David. So lovely to have you with us for this evening, this hour of chatting on the topic. And we are going to talk a little bit about the things we have been told not to say, and that's maybe a bit dangerous, but I think it's worth to mention some of these things because sometimes it's like we have been told so, and a lot of things we have been told in our development as mediums. And what I have realized over the years is you're not alone. More or less everybody has, and often I can hear on people what they're not questioning the things they have been told. So I think that's a great topic to cover. So I know, David, you are doing a few lives on Facebook, on TikTok, and things about these subjects as well. So you're really looking forward to this next hour together. So yes, and we have already one of your fans here. So it's Casa.
Hey, Casa.
Yes. So that's great. That's great. So that means somebody can see us out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to this evening with our Let's Talk About, and with David Hale in the studio as guest. Please put your questions and inquiries in the comments, and we will try to cover it during the next hour as well. But David,
yes,
we had to get serious. We had to get serious. We had a good laugh before we started and said a lot of the things we shouldn't be saying. So a lot of that is out of the way. That's great, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
So but let's just get on with it. And we haven't really started yet, and Kata has already said this is going to be interesting. And yes, I believe it will. So if you haven't seen this our instant right now and here, you probably you might see it afterwards on a recap, and that's totally fine. You just miss out your own questions there. So David, the things we're going to talk about is some of the things we can maybe start sharing with some of the things we have been told not to talk about or not to mention as mediums, words not to use, and things like that.
Okay, go for it. What have you heard?
Oh well.
What have you been told?
Oh well, some of the classical we can see with mediums when we have seen other mediums working that. Without speaking to them, it's obviously they have been told, don't mention suicide. Don't mention he was an alcoholic and things like that. So it's sometimes when the information and the evidence is brought forward becomes a little bit blurry. Of course, we have to respect the sitter and things like that, how we phrase it sometimes. But so what are your experiences, David?
Well, for me, I've not necessarily been told don't say this or don't say that. It's more how you should work, how you should do this, how you should say that. Or, I mean, look, we all know that we're on platform, whether it be in a church or doing your own event, you know, to watch your language, because I have seen mediums on stage, on a platform, in a church, use words which I personally wouldn't, because I know when you're in a church, there's a certain reverence that you have to have. It's not about being perfect. I'm certainly not. My saying is, I'm a medium, not a saint, right? But I know that when I am in a church, I know to be professional and to know to watch my language, because in life, outside of that, do you know what? I swear, and I like to swear, because I was not brought up to swear, but that's my family. You know, we do talk using certain words, right? But I know I'm smart enough that when I go to a church, I don't use that kind of language, right? So I know for me that it's more been about, you can't say this, you can't, you can't do it this way, you've got to do it that way, blah blah blah. But they know there is an etiquette to it. But I think if I look at your examples there, when we say you can't mention the word suicide, for me that's a bit ridiculous, because number one, suicide is a word which is in the dictionary, whether it's mine, yours, that person over there, it's in the dictionary. It is a word, and you can't get away if someone has passed that way. That's how they're passed. Now, yes, for granted, each medium is going to be different. They're going to put it in their own way. So for me, if I have someone coming through that took their own life, I tend to say, well, I've got someone here who I feel took his own life or took himself to spirit. That's personally what I would say. But it's not because I'm offended by the word suicide. It's just that's the way I say it. Whereas other mediums will say, I feel he did commit suicide. The family know that. There's no point in now trying to make it fluffy. They've been through the pain of knowing their loved one committed suicide. They know it. So what difference is it going to make if we suddenly go, oh, I can't say that word, I've got to avoid it, I've got to make it all nice and fluffy? Well, it wasn't a fluffy experience for the family. So what are you making it fluffy now for? So I think, for me personally, the way I work, I'm very honest with my mediumship, right? I tend to say it as it is, but not in a cruel way, never in a negative, demeaning way, nothing like that. But it's important that if I'm representing spirit, I need to represent them correctly. Yeah. And so you can't take suicide out of the equation, because that's how they passed. But I think what the difference is, it's how you deliver your information.
Makes sense.
Because I have seen mediums, and I'm not going to say a name, but there's a very well-known medium who's been on TV for a number of years, who goes into the full details of it.
Yeah.
So rather than just say, I've got someone here who committed suicide, she then goes into, oh, they committed suicide and they hung themselves and they were choking, and the next one, and I've also seen her go, oh, it's been stabbed and stabbed, and there's blood. You don't need to do that. What properly trained ethical medium is going to go into those details? None of them. But she does, apparently. But I get wound up now anyway. But you don't need to go into those details. I think that's why training in mediumship is so important, because it's not just about giving evidence. It's how you deliver it. It's how you get that across. It's how you say certain things. And when people don't have the right training, that's when there becomes damage to people that you were giving the message to. Because I always work with, my ethos is leaving my client feeling better than they did when they first walked in. Yeah. And that's not going to happen if I just spout out any old thing I think I should say. Because at the end of the day, mediumship is not about us. It's not about the medium. It's about spirit just using us to get the message across. We're part of it, but it's not about me and my ego and what I know and what I can say. I can say a lot of things in my reading, but I don't, because I make sure I give it in a respectful, way that's going to help people, not leave them feeling miserable. So in a very long answer to your question, the suicide thing, don't just remove it, but it's how you say it, because it happens. That's the reality.
Yes.
And also people can be when we talk about suicide, well, my mother
Biological.
my biological mother took her own life. And sometimes, when she comes through, the medium does like this. Oh, I have a lady here, and she's very young, and she committed suicide. She took her own life. And it's when you are a child of or a survivor or whatever you call it, from a person who did suicide, it's shameful. And if the medium afflict, or what do you call it, show it's shameful, you will continue this guilt trip or shamefulness. And also there is a huge healing in just saying the word, because that's what it is. It's not. I remember a Danish medium called Annette. She was brilliant. She had my mom through, and it was such a healing thing, because she just said it and talked about it like nothing. It was very, very powerful. So if you just address it and just talk about it like it's not shameful, or it's just how it is and how it was, and then it becomes natural. Not that it is natural, but it just became powerful and healing. And I remember my eyes I was just crying, my tear would just run down, and the immense of healing was so powerful. So if she had said suicide or like that, it would became, my feelings would, I did something wrong, or yeah.
And that, I'd never thought about it that way before, because I get it now as you've said it, and as how you've spoken it. It does. I mean, it's almost like they're embarrassed to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why be embarrassed? That person did it. That was the action. There's no embarrassment about it. They obviously got to a certain point in their life where they couldn't be here anymore. Nothing shameful about it. It's just what happened. So so that way you've done that, actually, hopefully get other people thinking about that. Actually, the way again, it comes back to the way you say things. So no, I get that completely.
Yeah, and you have the same with many other subjects. I believe all that have had like alcoholism in their life one way or another, they'll have that shame as well, that guilt, that's all these things. I know from my own daughter, from her mom, the guilt my daughter was carrying around there. So if we are like not addressing the things the communicator from spirit actually bring forward, as Lola said, the healing within it. Sometimes we just need to clarify it. Of course, we can be sensitive. We can be, especially when we're on the platform, be sensitive to the recipient, not to have everybody looking at them and pointing fingers or whatever can happen there. But there's so many subjects. We have a thing like incest. I've tried a couple of times from the platform, having at that, not the same that both times, but two different dads that came to talk to the daughters, where they have not been as good fathers as they should have been.
Yeah.
But I'm not standing there. Oh, I do have your father here, and your father tells me that he sneaked into your bed at night time and did bad things to you. No, I can put it different. I can put it like, well, your dad is making me aware that he wasn't that he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
The recipient will know what it's about.
Yeah. I also think I would say there is a difference between giving a message like that on platform versus in a one-to-one situation.
Oh, definitely.
Said for the privacy of the person as well. And look, I've been witness to people who have in public have said to a person, oh, I've got someone here and you were sexually abused, weren't you?
Yeah,
On a
yeah.
platform. Now, I think there's a difference between that and alcoholism, right? I think that's incest and suicide. I think they're very different things. And I think they're those things far more sensitive than alcoholism or whatever else. So I think, yeah, like you said, Jack, it's being smart as a medium about how you say it, how you deliver it, being aware of the environment that you're in. But again, whether it's a private setting or on a platform, there's certain ways of, and that's where training comes in. And actually, intelligence at the end of the day is, okay, how do I get this across in a way that that person's going to understand it? But that there are many people out there, unfortunately, that just spout everything out. And for me, that's more of, look at me, look what I can do, look what I know. Well, exactly. It's not really about what you know. It's been able to deliver it in a sensitive way, depending on where you are and who you're with.
Exactly. I remember when I came to UK now this is my family story, but my father was an alcoholic. Sorry. And I remember normally it's very easy for me to have people with drugs or alcohol problems because I know it's how it works and what you become as a person when you do things like that. And I don't judge, and that I think that's the most important things, that I don't judge people with that kind of need. But I remember when I came to UK the first time, I was put on a platform. The person in chair said, "Now don't mention about alcoholism." And I said, "Why? Why not?" Because that's just again healing. So I was thinking, oh my God, I don't hope anyone who's drinking on the other side is coming through today. That was really so I had to think about all my links. And the person said, "Now remember, maybe they don't respond because they don't want to be recognized in the congregation." So I was. It took me actually quite a long time before I just went back to normal. I had to come back to Denmark again and do some Danish stems and just do my regular things, but I really had to. It took me a long time to think about what to say and what not to say and what to bring and what not to bring on the platform so it changed. It was a milestone for me, daft milestone, I must say. But yeah.
For me personally, if there's any restrictions put on me, I don't work there. And it's as simple as that. Because as a medium, we are just a storyteller. We are given the story of who's coming through. And if alcoholism is part of their life, they're going to bring it through. I'm not going to say to them, "Oh, don't you dare talk to me about that today. Not today. Come back another time when I'm somewhere else." It's ridiculous. If it's part of their story, that's part of their story. Again, there's no shame in it. They were obviously going through a difficult time at that point. My own nan was sent to how to put it in a more polite way. She had to be sectioned for her own mental health because she turned to alcohol for situations going on in her life. We don't keep that out of the family. That's just what happened. It was part of her life. There's no shame about it, but that's just what happened. And so, I've said it. Do you know what people don't realize is that sometimes that sense of information can be the biggest bit of evidence that person needs to know it's their person. I've done readings where I've said to them, I've got to say, there's an issue with alcohol here. I feel it's a bit of an alcoholic. And they burst into tears because that was not because I upset them, but that was the evidence that solidified I was talking about their dad. Because that's their experience of their dad. If I had dad come in and said, "Oh, dad's all really lovely and he's a tea drinker, isn't he? All teetotal," they're going to go, "No, it's not. He drank
It's not my
beer
dad.
morning, noon, and night. That ain't my dad. So
Yeah.
you're distorting the reality of what's actually coming through. How on earth is that recipient going to take that if you're not giving the reality of the loved one? Because again, that was that man's experience of his dad. He didn't know his dad sober. He knew his dad drunk. So that is part of the evidence.
Yeah.
Again, it's how you deliver it's important, but that's just that is what it is. I was on platform the other night, and it's happened quite a few times. You know, I've got a guy come in. I knew that he took recreational drugs. So he shows me Smarties. I know they're not Smarties. They're other things. He's trying to put them in my hand. And I will say to the person, this is what I'm being shown, and I know it's not this. Would you understand it? Yeah, he did. He died of an overdose. And they would say it to me. So they know it. It didn't upset the person. Again, it solidified that was her boy I was talking about. Didn't upset her. That's what she needed to know. Apart from everything else, that was her boy. So you can't avoid what's coming in, you know. But and also at the end of the day, when people come to a demonstration, they're aware that anything can happen. Yeah. They're in a public space. They've given their permission and their right for whatever to be said because they've come there. If they want that private setting, then book a one-to-one reading. Yeah. So, you know, I think the area do, I'm afraid.
And also when you bring it through like suicide, alcoholism or things like that, you know, when you say it out loud and with no judgment or no, it is healing. And maybe there is a lady next to the recipients who also have somebody in her family with the same and can reflect, oh, we are together and relax in it and say, well, it's okay. Every family have their ghost in the closet or you know, or,
absolutely.
You know, and we cannot put the shame on the congregation or I hope you understand what I mean. Like my father, he said, well, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict. I know I lost my marbles when I was younger and I couldn't get back. So I'm not sorry. I'm sorry for us missing the time, but I couldn't stop. And that's how it was.
That's the truth.
So thank you. You know.
Yeah.
So that was just a very good thing. And I remember I had to a lady, her father came through and you know, she was just crying the whole, but in relief because, well, I had her father and said, I am sorry for not being the father, you know, that was not incest, but I'm sorry for not being there. I couldn't do anything else. And I can explain to you why I became and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, but I'm following you now and things like that. You know, it was just, we have to recognize the power of healing in that as well.
Yes.
Can you imagine if we have to say, oh, I have a lady here, she died of cancer, you know, what?
Yeah. And if that lady has fought that cancer for many years, all she had, she want to say, yeah, I had cancer. Do you know what? I fought it. It's not going to come in and go, I fought it. No, the family will know. No, my mum fought that cancer.
Yeah.
She had it, and she fought it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And again, we don't need to describe that. Oh, she was laying there in bed and she couldn't eat, and everything was coming out of her mouth again. We don't need these details, but we can address it in a sensitive and polite way. I don't like to say polite, but you know what I mean. It's
that respectful way. Just
respectful.
Move on.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
So yes, we have a couple of comments here. Sophie, hi Sophie.
Hi Sophie.
Could you managed to get on here. So put a comment here as well. As since 1967 in UK and decriminalizing suicide, professionals who work with issues around suicide have asked for people to stop saying committed suicide, as there's no illegal act that has occurred, but preferred use to say someone ended their life through hanging overdoses or something like that, in order to reduce the shame, guilt. Exactly, and what we just talked about.
Yeah.
So and even though this comes back from 1967, there's still a lot of shame and guilt built into it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And Casa says here, read the sitter. If they feel uncomfortable, Terry, then ask if they want to continue. Exactly. So just be aware of your sitter. So if they seem uncomfortable, ask them if they're okay to continue. Simple as that. And with that, just another case coming to my mind, because sometimes we as mediums can have things that we are not comfortable with one way or another to work with. One thing I have asked, I have told Spirit I don't want to work with directly, not that I'm not working with them, is like babies and very small kids. For several reasons. There's a psychology within it. Not that if I'm being aware of this at that born or a child, a 2-year-old child that has passed to Spirit, but what I will do, I will say to the Spirit world, for that baby coming forward, who are with you?
Okay.
Who are with you? So probably grandmother or whoever will step forward. So I can work with grandma and say, so I do have grandmother here, so and so and so and so. So you understand that, but you understand grandmother is talking about a baby in spirit.
Yeah.
Because already there, the recipient know that their baby has been taken care of.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one thing. And the other thing is when we have small babies like that never really got a language here in life. So for the sitter, will often sit and think, how can they say so that didn't have a language?
Yeah, that's it.
So if we have somebody else to communicate on their behalf, and I've done that several times, just say, oh, well, I won't try to bring the evidence, shared memories and things like that, because they're very, very limited. So who are with you?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't tend to work with a lot of children. I think because I believe that Spirit will work with the medium who they resonate with the most. And I don't have children. I'm not interested in having them. not my cup of tea. So I don't really level with children, if that makes sense. I'm not really a child person. But normally what happens, like similar to what you said, Jack, what I tend to see, like happened the other night, I saw the connect with the grandmother, and as I saw the grandmother, all of a sudden she was rocking a baby. And so I was able to say to the lady, she's got a baby here, would you understand that she's rocking the baby? Yes, that's her son who died as a baby. Again, there's no communication from the child because the child wasn't here long enough to have the language to use to communicate with. So that's how I tend to get children through. I normally see them, like you said, with a grandparent or parent or whoever comes in with them. Yeah.
So and again, it's like if we have been taught and development medium, it's been taught rightfully to look at making the communication, the message uplifting, and that's often mistaken by doing love and light.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really often mistaken by love and light, because as we just talked about, suicide, alcoholism, somebody beat up their family, all these things. If we are avoiding talking about, addressing these things, how can that healing come in place?
Yeah. And that's what it's about. That's what we do the work. It is about healing.
Yeah. Exactly. That was why I started developing my evidential mediumship. I started as a healer, and with the trance, but found out that within the evidential mediumship, how much healing there was. How much healing there was within that.
Exactly. But it's like with animals. I know the SNU tell mediums they can't work with animals or can't bring animals through. Well, I think what load of old nonsense. Because animals, for some people, are part of their family. Yeah. Like your dog or your cat, whatever. Now, I'm not suggesting that the dogs talk, like animals talk to me, because I'm not Dr. Dolittle, right? They don't talk to me, but they might drop memories in my head for the person to know that they're animals with them. Now, I'm not stood here talking to a horse or having a conversation with them, because you can't. They didn't talk in life; they're going to talk in death. But animals like your pets, your cats, dogs, whatever, in my opinion, they have their own spirit. They're not a robot. They're not a robotic animal. They've got their own characters, their own personalities. And I've done plenty of readings where an animal has shown me something just to let their owner know that they're there, that they've also gone back to spirit. Yeah. And I think there's also something that some mediums are told not to say. You can't bring animals through. Well, no, I can, if they choose to. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about the natural flow. I don't stand there going, right, if you're a parrot, please come in. No. But if a parrot does come in, I'll say, right, I've got your parrot here. And I go, yeah, I know that is. Like, okay. And I'll describe something about the parrot. And I go, yeah, I know that parrot is. Well, there's your evidence. Not for me to judge. It's not for me to block myself, go, I can't say that because that organisation said that. No. So, no. Again, we are just the channel for spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's my opinion anyway.
Oh, yes. So,
yeah, and also they have shared memories, or with you. I remember I had Jack's dog through, and just the view, sitting next to Jack, and the view over the water and things like that. That was nice. Not throw me a ball.
No, exactly. Yeah. But it's a shared memory. It's a shared memory they have with you.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. And with the shared memories with the animals and things like that, yes, that would, in my experience, that would come forward differently. It would come more like pictures, and your dog is coming to say what's saying. Woof.
I want my dinner now. No, they're not.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes. So, and a comment from Sophie here. I respect your choice as mediums, Jack, to bring through who is looking after the young child in spirit. But as both I and my grandmother in spirit have our own babies in spirit, it can be confusion as to which baby is being referred to. I understand that, Sophie, but hopefully I will do my job good enough and working with grandma. So grandma will make it clear to me if it's her baby or your baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my job as medium as well. So, but I can see your point of view there. But yeah, it's our job as medium to clarify that to you.
No, exactly.
So
exactly.
And that's it's training and experience that comes in there. So
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So that's that's a big thing as well. But again, yes, it's about the healing and the comfort of the sitter, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I think that's, as we talked about, it's very important not to be neither judgmental or scary to touch certain topics as a medium, because
That's it.
everybody is.
Yeah, we're not here to judge. We don't judge. As soon as you judge information, your logical brain gets involved, and it's no longer spirit; it's your brain.
Yeah.
So it's important that we do just allow it to flow through. And as mediums, we're the ones that need to be smart, using our ethics and our emotional intelligence to know, okay, I've got that information. Now, how do I deliver it? And if you're trained enough and have that intelligence, that common sense, then it should work the best way it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was very lucky to have my education and my training here in Denmark. As I said, I was very shocked the first time I came to UK by don't say this, don't say that, and don't. I remember, as I said, it took me quite a while to, to come forward again, to be just who I am as a medium and who I bring through. I think Jack taught us very much that how you, who you interacted with in your life, people, and how you met them, and things like that, they will come through as well. And you can always see in a medium's work where the most important people has been in their life.
Yeah, and our memory box of our life, the way it's been used when we are working with spirits. I've seen a lot of mediums over the years, and often you can, when you see the same medium work a number of times, you will often could tell a little bit about their life because of the type of communicators that they're working with, and how they're working with it. It's actually quite interesting.
Spirit, I would say spirit use our frame of reference. So whatever we've been through, they will pull on that. For me personally, I don't necessarily think they use our memories, because when we're bringing spirit through, it's their memories we're trying to work with, not ours. What we're trying to use is our frame of reference, what we know, so what we can lean on, which can help filter that information through as best it can. But Lola, coming back to what you said about when you came to England, you were shocked about what you can and can't say. I do think there's a difference between independent spiritualist churches and those that belong to certain organizations, because I learned in an independent spiritualist church, so I'm not affiliated to any organization. And I think what I've heard from people in that sector is that there is more restriction under the organization and not under the independent churches, just from my experience. And so I think it very much does depend where you train, who you want to train with, because there are two different things, where one can be very restrictive, in my opinion, and the other not so much, just from what I've learned and how I've learned.
Yeah, and of course it's a personal thing, how our mindset is, how we are to grab things that is out of our comfort zone, of course. But yeah, of course, it's not spirit working with our memories, but when spirit are coming with their energy, it brings forward our memories. So what I meant with it was I remember in my early days, I had a lot of young men coming forward, riding motorbikes, going on music festivals and things. That has been a big part of my life in my younger days.
So it's your your
Yeah,
life
yeah.
experience they're using.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I don't have that
Reference.
so much anymore. I'm not that young anymore. But
Yeah.
but
Oh, very lovely.
but I remember I had a lady coming in the center, and she has more or less all her work life and her life have been about been in a bank and around the bank environment.
Yeah.
When she was working with something with financial things and things like that, she did some really good messages.
Yeah.
Anything out from outside from that, she didn't have any knowledge about how what spirit meant, how to deal with it and things like
Yeah.
that, because she has
Yeah.
no personal experience in life.
I'd be the opposite because I'm really rubbish at maths.
Yeah.
So that really don't use me for that reading because I'll be completely
No, no.
rubbish.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that is very important.
so it's but I think sometimes we have to be aware of it as mediums as well. Just sometimes look at the messages we are giving, and I know for the many years now I've been working with it that there's periods where then there can come a period of time where it's grandmothers that is coming forward a lot. And then a new period where it will be young people committed suicide. It's like it's periods, kind of as we're going through our development as mediums, and we never stop that, do we?
No.
And sometimes we are just going back to what we did 5 or 10 years ago, and just so. It's just my experience that sometimes it like can just be aware. Wow, I do have a lot of grandmas at the moment, you know. And then I can take a choice as a medium and say, well, spirit, I want to work with something else now.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
then I
it's
can
all
change.
of the learning.
Yeah.
We change all the time. You know, my mediumship is not the same today as it was 6 months ago or last year.
Yeah.
Because it completely evolves, and you change the way you work. You'll get those dems where like say you've got all the old ladies coming forward, and other dems where you've got a mixture of everything, and in your head you're like, oh god, who's coming in now? Because I've got grandma, I've got dad, I've got auntie, I've got uncle, I've got a young man, I've got oh my god, help me out here. But I think I live my life with everything happens for a reason. So in those kind of demonstrations, you've got to look at it and go, they're trying to teach me something here. There's a reason why I've got loads of old ladies coming in. I don't know what the reason is, but I'll figure out why. So there's always a lesson in it. But yeah, it's always about just keeping your mind open to always develop and learning. Every time I do a platform, I come away learning something from it. So you've got to keep yourself open to continue development.
And also we have to remember that they are just as different as we are here on earth, you know. So maybe we have 10 grandmothers, but they all have that little different thing. So we have to see the nuggets, you know.
I think you're onto something there, Lola. I think that's probably why, because let's say you do a demo, you've done 6 connections, and all 6 of them are grandmothers, right? All 6 of those connections, I don't like using the word links, but the 6 of those connections, they should all be different.
Yes.
Maybe that's where the learning is. If they come through and it's all the same, you know there's something you need to change there. But they're all individual, they've all got their own characters and personalities. So every single one of those connections should be different to the next. So that lets you know that you're in that link, that you're in you're in that connection, that you're with that person, not just the same thing repeated over and over again, which I see a lot of sometimes. So
that little recipe. I have a grandmother here. She was 89.
Don't
She
get me
loves
started.
cooking, baking.
Yeah, but true. Not all grandmoms are 5'2" with curly gray hair and
I'm 80.
an age and an apron. We do have the grandmas coming forward these days with tattoos, with piercings, with
Yeah.
Grandmother.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot younger, you know.
yeah,
Because as the world changes, mediumship's got to change with it.
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
yes, oh yes,
It
Exactly.
can't all be 80-year-old grannies knitting on their rocking chair, drinking their
But
tea.
as the topic is, we things you don't, because I think in, let's say, 5-10 years from now, it's going to be very, very difficult, I think, because on the way, as we talked about the how we evolved and how things change, pronouncing him, her, all these things. Oh my God, it's going to be very, very difficult. It was a grandmother she identified as, you know, and it's really, really going to be tough, I think.
with all the family constellations we have these days, it's
Yeah, it's going to be tough, I think.
an exciting future for the future mediums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A challenge for the futures of today.
Yeah. But it will teach us all something as well, won't it? It will teach us to
Yes,
roll with it, to change our mindset with mediumship as well. So it will be tough, but I think it's a small minority. I don't think it'll be that too big, but again, it'll still change. It'll still change. Look back to the mediumship of the early 1900s. That doesn't happen anymore. It's very different now, so it'll all change.
What I mean about that is the how to be. People sometimes get very much not shameful but offended on how you. So, but it's like I think that's going to be a challenge in the future, near future.
Yeah, but I think the audience has to work with us as well, because look, I am part of that community of those people who, you know, change their pronouns, you know, the LGBT, the rest of it. I'm part of that, so I do see it, but I do think that although I'm part of that community, I think a lot of the community also have to be open to the fact that when they go and see a medium, whatever, some people are not skilled, not necessarily educated, not educated from an ignorant point of view, but if that's not part of your life as a medium, that isn't going to resonate with you. And so I think the audience also has to be open to the fact that actually we're not necessarily going to know that, because in spirit, they don't have sex. They don't have a gender, as far as I'm aware. They're just a spirit. They come through the memories of that life. They don't have gender in spirit. And so, depending on the medium, they might not pick up. I mean, I've done readings where I've had someone in my head and I wasn't sure if they were male or female. And I had to be honest and say, I've got someone here who I don't know. They're presenting like a male, but they feel like a female. And that's just how I've had to put it. Because although I'm part of that community, the LGBT, I know who I am, he, him, but I still couldn't quite get it right in my head, because it just energetically it felt split. And I explained it and they got it, they knew who it was. And so I think we're not trying, obviously if they understand that's mediums, we're not trying to offend people, but again, if it's not in your frame of reference, you're not necessarily going to understand it or get it. So it's no offense meant, it's just we're not, you know, I'm personally not into he, him, they, there. I don't really get involved in it. So even in my memory bank, in my frame of reference, I know about it, but I'm not, you know, I don't live my life by it. So again, it's not my experience necessarily, because I know who I am, if that makes sense. Not that other people don't know who they are, but you know what I mean? Like digging myself a hole here, but you know what I'm trying to say. So it's, you know, we should be open. Mistakes are going to be made. As mediums, that aside, mistakes are made.
Yes.
You know, we are going to get things wrong. I can't stand mediums who say, "Oh, I always get it right. I'm not wrong." Well, no, you can be wrong because you're human. You've got a human brain. You've got a logical side of your brain, which sometimes gets involved.
Yeah.
You know, mistakes are going to be made on whatever level it might be. You know, so we can't be hard on ourselves either while we're trying to do the work. Because mistakes happen.
Yeah. Yes, and Lane putting on here. I fully agree, David, regarding independent churches and how controlling, freeing what rules and what is considered acceptable to say or do from the platform. Having first demonstrated in a church in the 1980s as a fledgling as a new youth church, then moved to independent and Christian spiritualist churches from the days of our churches being picket and services and mediums heckled by those of local Baptist churches mostly. In many parts of England, I have seen so much change in terms and rules, what can or can't. So yeah, I can agree with Sophie there. Over the 20 years I've been working in the churches in UK, so different from church to church, not only from SNU church to independent churches to Christian spiritual churches, but even in the same under the same banner in different aspect, that can be different from one corner to another corner. So it's very much down to the committee, the president of the church, things like that. So so it's can be really difficult sometimes when you're working, and I believe you have the same experience, David, when you're working around in churches, to wonder how we are allowed to do this time.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something. Whatever church I work in, I don't think about how they want me to work. I just do my thing, because I know that I'm respectful, I'm ethical, I'm compassionate, humorous. I lift the energy. So I know that whatever I do, I'm not going to offend people, because that's not my nature anyway. I'm not there to offend. That's just not me as a person. So I don't. And also, I think you get to a certain part in your development, but I think it's an age thing as well, right? Because at this point in my mid-40s, I'm like, I don't need to be told what to do and how to do it, right? Because I think, again, when there's a sense of control and a sense of restriction, that's when the medium is not doing their best work.
Yes, definitely.
And again, give an example. I was told. Now, if you guys have watched me work, so I know you follow me around. So I know you see me work, right? And you know that when I work indirectly, right? I don't go direct and go to people, and that works for me. And you've seen it work for me, right? That's how I do. I've been told that type of mediumship is called bingo mediumship, and that going direct is a better way of working. And I was told that by the own church that I trained in. I was told that we don't do bingo mediumship here. So because I didn't work that way, I felt that I wasn't good enough.
Yes.
Whenever I did a service for them, I was so nervous because I didn't work how they wanted me to work, because I might be seen as a bingo medium. You know, as soon as I let go of that restriction, my mediumship soared, because I was not paying attention to what that person or those people were saying to me. Because let's face it, we've seen people go direct and it don't always work.
Exactly.
And it's a car crash, which I've seen recently. I'm not saying that going indirect is better than going direct, but both have their own merit. Because I always say, do you really think, right, that grandma's up there going, well, I want to talk to my granddaughter, but I can't use that medium because they're not going direct. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But there are people who, I know a medium who is on my podcast next week, who was told to her face oh, you're a bingo medium then, aren't you?
Yeah.
And was made to feel that small because she doesn't go
Yeah.
direct. Going direct does
Yeah.
not make you a better medium. Do you really think that spirit care how you get a message to someone?
No.
Because going direct isn't evidence.
No.
That's just a process.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
evidence is once you've got the link. That's the important part, not how somebody works. So people out there, stop it. Because I also know mediums who have been told by a church president, we do it like this in my church. And I said, well, don't book me again then.
No.
So that's my attitude. If you don't like the way I work, don't book me. I am not precious. I'm not that bothered, right?
Exactly.
Because as soon as you put restrictions on me, I don't do my best work. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't work for you. I work for spirit, and that's it.
That's it.
We are totally with you, David.
Yeah.
We are rarely going direct either in any of us. And I've heard, it's evidential to go direct, but it's not evidential if you
That's
can't
not evidence.
Evidence afterwards.
Yeah.
That's just how you know. And then these same people who say you should go direct are the same people that say, right, I'm coming to you. I've got a father or grandfather link. Well, excuse me. But if you're telling me that going direct is better, you should know, who is it? Is it dad? Is it grandfather? Which one is it? If you look at a person now you've got, tell me who you've got. Don't then say, okay, because I can say, right, I've got a grandfather here who can take it, and it is their grandfather. There's no going, who is it? No, I've got who it is.
Yeah.
You know? So I think church needs to be careful, because that's kind of snobbery. We'll stop mediums going to their churches.
Yes.
Because mediums don't want to be put under pressure. It's not about looking good and how you do it. As long as you deliver a good service with the best evidence that you can, that's what's important. So, you know, I think
it's so important. And it's so important to be just a medium in your own right. You know, do the best you can, and don't, as I said, like you, she said, the bingo medium, or you know. Don't say that on my platform, or things like that. You know, you restrict yourself and you don't let it flow. And it's so important to learn your own skills, your own way of delivering, and be yourself, because there are mediums enough, you know. And as long as you do the best you can, and learn your own skills and how to deliver and things like that, it's going to be okay.
That's it. The spirit world don't want robots. They don't want mediumship robots. That's not why we're here. That's not why we have the ability that we have, that some of us have worked hard for, right? We've trained for it as well. We didn't wake up one day and go, oh, I'm going to talk to dead people today. That certainly wasn't my case. And so, you know, it's about be yourself. You know, we're not there to be a carbon copy of anybody else.
Exactly.
Whether that's just as a person or whether that's as a medium, it applies to both. And again, as soon as you start going, oh, I need to be like that person, you've lost yourself.
Yes.
You know, you've lost your own spark. So I know that spirit will work with all our personalities differently, which is why, you know, some people will really like me and some people won't. Some people would rather go to Jack or Lola, and some might come to me, and vice versa, because it's that soul resonance you have with the person. And I think if for us as individuals, if I want to go to a medium, I want to go to a medium who I feel I resonate with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I'll get the best connection with them.
Yeah.
And that's important to be yourself. No one else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and yes, just to finish off the going direct or indirect, what we often see, in my opinion, is not all, but often see mediums going direct is becoming what I call a bit lazy mediums, because they're becoming lazy with the evidence, because I'm with you, David. You understand a lady in the spirit world, fine. So. And often it becomes a little bit psychic reading and so on as well. And sometimes they're not really directed by spirit, but on Zoom by a background. We can see that sometimes those with the beautiful backgrounds have been picked going direct. When we see the physical in churches centers, somebody with a beautiful smile or doing something to draw attention, they will be picked as a recipient. So it's a totally different topic, and I'm sure we can do another talk on that one.
I could talk all day about it because it's a topic that winds me up.
Yes, exactly. David, we will do that later this year if you want to.
Okay.
So, for now, I just want to end our leave a little. Let's talk about for now. We have used an hour now. So
well, doesn't fly.
Yes, we do have a couple of comments, so people can read them, and we won't have time now to go deeper into them. Sophie, but thank you for all your comments and things. And thank you, David, for joining us tonight.
No, thanks for the invite. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to have you with us. Just quickly, our next World Unite service is this coming Sunday, the 7th, 10 a.m. UK time, and that is with Mia Ottesen and Frederick Hacklund, from Sweden. So this Sunday, upcoming Sunday, the 7th. No, not the 7th. Yeah, the 7th. Blah blah blah. This upcoming Sunday, with Mia and Frederick from Sweden, and on the 20th of June. 20th June, 7 p.m. UK time, we have our Two Worlds United demonstration of mediumship with Andy Ford and Nicholas Shortland Neal, both UK. So we are looking forward to that. But for now, David, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you, everybody out there. If you haven't seen it direct, maybe you'll see it on recap here on Facebook, on YouTube, or maybe even on TikTok, where we'll share it afterwards here as well. So thank you, David, and thank you, everybody out there. So we'll go off the stream now. So thank you.